Deontay Wilder versus Johann Duhaupas was the first world heavyweight title fight to be shown on free-to-air network television in the United States since 1985. America is today a nation of approximately 300 million citizens. And out of 300 million citizens, only 2.365 million tuned in to watch this fight. This shows just how far boxing has fallen in the United States. Now, some of you out there who are Americans, you may be thinking, what am I talking about? 2.3 or 2.4 million is not a bad figure. Well, it's all relative. I guess it's not a bad figure compared to the average pay-per-view fight, a Mayweather fight, a Pacquiao fight, or whatever. It's not a bad figure. But just to put things in perspective for you, the UK has a population of approximately 60 million people. So it's got less than a quarter of the population of the United States. And when Carl Frampton, who is a super bantamweight world champion in the United Kingdom, I believe he's from Northern Ireland, when his fight was shown on Channel 5, which is a free-to-air network television station in the UK, he drew about, I believe, 2 or 3 million for his fight. So he drew a similar amount of viewing figures, if not a bit more, for his world title fight, his super bantamweight world title fight, in a country that has less than a quarter of the population of the United States. And it gets worse. Tyson Fury a few years ago was fighting on free-to-air network television in the UK on a station called Channel 5. And many of his fights were doing, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they were doing 4 or 5 million. And these were just fights, a lot of them against random journeymen. Not even a world title fight. And he was doing better numbers than the heavyweight champion in America, in a country that has a population over 4 times the size of the UK. What in the world has happened to American boxing? It has died a death. If Britain had a world heavyweight champion fighting on free-to-air network TV, like on ITV, BBC, Channel 5, whatever, absolutely guaranteed it will be getting at least 5 million, maybe more, maybe 10 million, even right now, after UK TV hasn't really been showing professional boxing consistently for a very, very long time. But even now, they would still get at least 5 million, maybe 10 million. So, wow. How the mighty have fallen. This is really sad to see, because America really used to be the home of boxing internationally. And to some extent, it still is. But boxing in America particularly now is more of a niche sport. It's no longer a mainstream sport. In the UK, it's still a bit of a niche sport, but it's certainly a lot more mainstream than it is in the United States. You got guys like Anthony Joshua currently at the moment, who is borderline a household name in the UK now. And he's just a prospect. He ain't fought for any major titles or anything like that. He hasn't even been in a competitive fight yet. And he's already borderline household name in the UK. And he may be fighting his first pay-per-view. Imagine that, his first pay-per-view. It shouldn't be a pay-per-view, don't get it twisted. This whole dynamic I'm talking about is a double-edged sword. Sometimes fighters, or many times fighters in the UK, get overhyped. But the good thing about the UK is that there's still a sizable proportion of the population who love boxing. Whereas in the United States, the proportion of the population that loves boxing is far smaller than it is in countries like the UK. And that really is sad. It really is. Wilder, even against a unheralded opponent like Duhaupas, in a country of 300 million, he should at least, at the bare minimum, be getting 10, 15 million people watching. Come on, people. This is crazy. The World Heavyweight Championship aired for the first time since 1985 on network television. And all you can muster is 2.3 or 2.4 million viewers? That is crazy. That is a tragedy, people. Wow, Al Heyman has got a seriously tough job on his hands. If that is the kind of viewing figures that the World Heavyweight Championship is doing. Wow, he's really, really got a tough sell. The American public, the climate in America when it comes to entertainment, sports, whatever, is so different than it used to be back in the 80s and 70s and maybe even the early 90s. It's just so different now. Americans really don't love boxing anymore. Anyway, drop your comments below, people. Let me know what you think about these figures. I'll leave a link to the article where I got this information from in the comment section below as always. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.